graduate of 2001. Dan was one of the top 10% of his class, a National Honor Society member, a Maryland Distinguished Scholar, a 4-year recipient of the Presidential Award for Academic Excellence, and won Prom King of his graduating class in 2001. He is a graduate of the Robert E. Smith School of Business at the University of Maryland, College Park, with a Bachelor of Science in Finance. He currently resides in Chicago, Illinois, where he is a client finance manager at a major advertising firm with clients such as Boeing, Motorola, and Kellogg's. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Mr. Dan Cadenas.
Thank you. Thanks for putting my little brother right here in the front row. Last time I was here, I was actually dancing dog for the King and I by Miss Maestro. Is Miss Maestro still working? So it's been a long time, but happy to be back, and thanks again for that warm introduction. It's an honor for me to have been invited back to CMO Wright to speak with you at this prestigious academic ceremony. It's been almost a decade since I was in high school, so I really had to think hard on the kind of stuff that was going through my head at the time. The first and most prominent thing that popped into my head was, am I cool? And in retrospect, no, I was not. But fortunately, it turns out that that's one of the things that matters least in high school. What's most important is that you just be yourself and try to be nice to everyone. When you get out there in the real world, the only thing that really pulls you through life is being true to yourself. And at least that's what I tell Julian. Is that working for you at all? All right, he gave me a thumbs up for everybody to see it. He's also my brother, if anybody's one thing I did worry about that turned out to be worthwhile was academics. And I promise you, nobody here asked me to say that. That's just absolutely true. However, to be honest, looking back, it's not so much what I learned in college and high school, but actually the work ethic that I gained throughout those years. If you stay focused and diligent at this age and mold yourself into a person that can complete assignments on time and accurately, your transition to the real world will be very natural. Whether you end up working in a company or starting your own business, the only thing that matters will be your strong work ethic. No matter how gifted you may be, the only thing that's going to matter is how hard you work at whatever it is you choose to do. And I assure you, it's a lot easier to learn these qualities in high school while you're young. It's just like learning a foreign language or riding a bike in that respect. If you get out of high school with a strong work ethic, it'll just be a part of your DNA. For your own sake, please do this now. I promise you life is much less forgiving once you're out on your own. If you learn this lesson now, I assure you it'll pay dividends in your future. Clearly, however, no fiction required, because you guys are all here and you're already on the right path. Just keep going in this direction and your future will be bright. So what other advice can I offer you? I watched a lot of YouTube in preparation for this. Just trying to get a feel of what a really great speech sounded like. And I have to tell you, most of the interesting ones that I watched were from older, very well-accomplished people with a lot of good stories. And unfortunately for you, I'm still relatively young. If this doesn't do it for you, check out Steve Jobs on YouTube or Conan O'Brien for the graduating class at Harvard University. Those are both really good. However, although I'm only a little over 4 years out of college, I feel like there are a few things that you can take from my experience up until now. At the end of my undergraduate career, I was very happy with my degree. But I also had developed a strong interest in law. I was eager to get out there and start my life, but I was also being pulled in another direction by the introduction I had to business law at Maryland. So I got going in the LSATs, started applying to schools, and before I knew it, I was back in Chicago in an apartment, living with my brother, and going to DePaul Law. It was an awesome experience. I was enjoying the classes just as much as I hoped, but before long it became clear to me that law was not something for which I was going to have a passion. From there, just as quickly as I'd packed my bags and shown up at DePaul, I'd withdrawn from the program. My first reaction to this was, wow, what a mistake. I'd spent a lot of money getting to Chicago, and I'd left my undergraduate network and friends behind. Now here I was in a city that was relatively new to me, with hardly any contacts, and my only real friend was my brother. This is my older brother, not Julian, because he's still here next week. Admittedly, this made finding a job much harder than it probably would have been coming out of a career network at Maryland. But I didn't want to just turn around and go home. Eventually, after a few months of searching and interview, I was offered a job at one of Chicago's most prominent advertising agencies in their finance department. Since being hired, I've poured everything I've had into my career, and it really has been a rewarding and fun experience. And that pretty much brings us up until now. The most important lessons I think you can take from this are don't be afraid to try something that interests you. And on the other side of that, have the courage to change the things in your life that aren't working for you. It would be easy to call law school a mistake, but if you take another look, there were a lot of great things that came out of it. First of all, there's no doubt in my mind anymore that I haven't given law a chance. I don't have to have nightmarish vision that my destiny was to be a trial lawyer. I can put it all behind me and move forward. On top of that, lost my place. Coming to DePaul put me in one of the best cities in the world. I live blocks from Wrigley Field with the Chicago Cubs. Woo! Who was that? With the Chicago Cubs, only on Lakeshore Drive, only minutes from some of the coolest summer hangouts in the city. And I work for one of the most exciting ad firms in the United States. There was no guarantee when I left for Chicago that it would work out for the best. There was no guarantee that when I left law school it would work out for the best. But nothing in life is certain. No matter what happens, you have to just keep moving forward. The decision to move to Chicago was exciting. The decision to drop out of law school was scary. It was a tough decision to make, but after worrying about it for a short time, I had to commit and move forward. In the coming years, and maybe sooner, you'll have a lot of tough decisions of your own to make. From my experience, I recommend you take stock of your life, the things that interest you, and where you want to be in the future, and make your calls based on that. The most important person you need to make happy is yourself. You have to live with the decisions you make. And when things don't work out the way you planned, don't be afraid to cut bait and start over. If that happens, just stay positive and continue working towards your goals. Now, unfortunately, that summarizes my big move since college. So maybe 10 years from now, I'll come back with a few more life-changing events, but I'll have to get back to you on that. So who do we have here tonight? Are there any freshmen in the audience? Can I hear a round of applause for freshmen? That sounded like most of the people that were here. It's all right, huh? I expect all of you to be at this ceremony the next 3 years, freshmen. Is this a freshman over here? Or are they just sitting wherever? All right, that came from everywhere. Over there. Gotcha. All right, so you guys are everywhere. Well, anyway, freshmen, I want you guys to be here. I want you guys to be here for the next 3 years. You got 3 more of these. I want you to all. Welcome to high school. I hope it's proved to be everything you hoped for, everything you saw in the OC and Dawson's Creek, if you guys watched that. If not, then just give it some time, and I assure you it's going to get better. I'm most envious of you because you guys are starting what will hopefully be 8 of your most favorite years of your life. Over the next couple of years, you're going to make a lot of friends, learn a lot from all these wonderful teachers, and you're going to have a lot of fun. I'm especially proud of all of you for having made it here your first year. This is right where you want to be to start your high school career. Continue to work hard, and you will continue to have success like this. How about sophomores? Do you have any sophomores? That all came from over there, so they already figured it out, freshmen. They know they need to sit together and instead. I expect all of you to be here for the next 2 years as well. This has been your first full year of knowing what to expect from high school,